Hello, I'm Bruce Sawalski. I'm author of Canadian Wilderness Survival and chief instructor of the Boreal Wilderness Institute. And today I want to add to my Focus on Survival Gear series by talking about trail clothing. Now, if you like to learn real survival knowledge, then please support me by following me on YouTube and liking this video. So I've talked a number of times about winter clothing and winter equipment. I did a video on summer trail gloves and trail headgear, because that's very important. That's stuff that we need to know and we need to understand. And head and hands are essential. Body core means that extra clothing we're going to put on our body core basically means whether it's a fleece jacket or whether it's a sweater, we're adding that extra warmth. But I want to talk right now just about basic trail clothing and how it can make a difference and what kind of options you have to avoid wearing this, a cotton shirt, or a standard piece of trail clothing, your cotton t-shirts. So number one, you can take those cotton t-shirts and leave them at home and replace them with a synthetic t-shirt of some sort. So some kind of synthetic. And I've done that. You can get merino wool ones. They're expensive. You can get a polyester one, which work because, of course, it's not anything worse. But we'll start with the core first. Number one, I can go like this and replace all of my shirts for summer with a nylon shirt. Now, be careful here. This shirt is one of the trail shirts I actually use. It's 100% nylon because I checked the label. This one looks like the same one, and it's real fancy because it's got a beautiful Boreal Wilderness Institute logo. But unfortunately, I hardly use it in the trail because it's actually 62% cotton and 62% polyester and nylon and 32% or 38% cotton. And because it's got cotton in it, as soon as it gets a little damp, it soaks up that water, and it's really bad. And I don't use those at all. And I hardly take it. And it's just because of that cotton. It absorbs a little bit of moisture. It degenerates as soon as it's hot. And you go, in super hot weather, it doesn't make a difference. Cotton is actually a fairly friendly thing. So what's the problem? If I'm sitting in the Arizona salt flats, a cotton shirt like that might be a real bonus, right? Desert conditions are different than the north. And even if it gets warm, 100% nylon. And if I need to be able to roll those sleeves up, of course, they roll up nicely. They have little clips there, and I can then make it into a short sleeve shirt, and it's super lightweight. And the nylon, if it's 100% nylon, means no warmth loss if it gets wet. In other words, the nylon isn't working against me. So when we're talking about clothing next to skin, it's going to dry way faster. If I want to put my merino wool underneath, I just put a layer of merino wool underneath, and I put a fleece jacket on top. I put my rain gear on top of that, and I'm protected. In summer, it's unlikely I'll need more than one layer of warmth, but I could probably take two. I'll have a stuffy coat for sitting around camp, so I can wear both of them, and that'll keep me alive. How about pants? Well, if we look at pants, this is Mountain Equipment Co-op's most famous piece of gear, and that is their rad pants. And I know they started to manufacture these again. What's the huge advantage of these rad pants? They're incredibly, incredibly light. It's just nylon, so again, no cotton. You're not being cooled off by them. They're going to dry really, really fast. But just a closure. That's all it has, right? So what's the disadvantage of that? There's no belt to go with it. And so they're a handy set of pants. They're incredibly light. You can carry a pair, and there's no loss, right? If I go up to a heavier pair of nylon pants, these are, say me, right? So twice the weight, right? And where you get all that weight is more pockets, and although it has belt loops on it, a built-in belt, right? Zippers, buttons, all sorts of stuff to weigh that pant down. And there's zip-off, right? What's the advantage of zip-off pants? In really, really hot and nice weather, what can you do? You can zip them off and make them into shorts. So that is a little bit of flexibility. What's the disadvantage of zip-off pants? Sometimes they don't want to zip back on. And you run into the problem where it's really nice. I get up in the morning, it's cold, I wear long pants, I get up into the high country, I then unzip them, and then it turns crappy weather, I can put them back on. But then you see people trying to put their legs back on their pants, and it's really annoying, and it was really easy in your tent, but suddenly it's not, and then you'll end up having to take your pants off to do that, which is really annoying, and in groups, some people might think that's really weird. It's just, So most of the time, I don't bother. Now, these are even heavier pants, but what they have is good set of heavy belt loops and the clips and everything else, and they're the same kind of pants that I'm actually wearing. You can prove I'm wearing pants, right? There they are, and they're the same heavier weight pants. These are really, really good nylon pant, and they're thicker, and so they're better wind resistance. And more importantly, with them, I will take a belt, because I never go anywhere without a belt. And this is a leather belt. I can strap my knife in it when I want to get a little bit of things. But that leather belt can be used for a number of things, and I like that flexibility. I like redundant survival gear. So something like this isn't saying, hey, that's just a belt. But if you decided to find a way to get out of a belt in your garment, you have one less item. So an old leather belt like this is a real belt. It makes a big difference. I take them along winter and summer, right? So out in the woods, I'm wearing this belt. Of course, it looks that way because you can tell it's been around for a while, but it works. Now, spring and fall, I might work up. And this is the pair of pants that I wear all the time. And they're a winter pant in warm weather. And what they really are, of course, is what? It's me wearing Oscar de la Renta dress pants. And what I've done is, and you've seen these if you read my book, patches on the front. It's waterproof nylon on the front, waterproof nylon on the arse, and then, of course, belt loops and a belt to hold them up. And these are my winter pant. They're also my spring and fall trail pants, especially in the fall, when I know it's going to get worse. Because there's one of the things to think about. It's April. I'm going to wear those pants if I can, or I might wear, and I got a few nylon pants with a liner, right? But most of the time it's that. It gives me the flexibility. They're lightweight. They're nice to have. Once the weather gets warm, it's nylon pants. Once I get into the fall and I'm getting into October, November, the weather could be good, but the weather's only going to get worse. So if it snows tomorrow and we get 30 centimeters or a foot of snow, which sometimes we do here in Alberta, I know that in 2 or 3 days it's going to melt. So I know it's always going to improve. But if it's fall, I know it's always going to get worse. That's just how it works. So it makes a big difference. Does good trail clothing save your life? Absolutely. You notice there that there is no cotton in any of that trail clothing I showed you, other than the shirt that I rejected. It's nylon, it's wool, and where's the warmth I'm carrying in summer? It's going to be in polypropylene or merino wool underwear, long underwear, top and bottom. That's what I'll have in my pack because I won't be wearing it unless it's cold. And probably a fleece jacket or some kind of stuffy coat, exactly like I showed you in winter, right? In other words, just go back, read the watch the winter parka video, see that gear, and understand that the big heavy parka I'm not taking. But I'm taking at least one layer of warm clothes to help out, because that's going to make a big difference. So I hope you like learning a little bit about trail clothing. I hope that means you go out into Canada, the United States, or out in the UK and go out this spring and this summer and enjoy the beautiful wilderness. I know I am. I'm looking forward to heading into the mountains for a week at the end of April. I'm looking forward to being able to go back into the wilderness, because even though COVID might be around, I can still travel. And I can still travel out in the wilderness because it's worth doing. And it's going to be a beautiful summer, and good clothing is going to make sure you can get through that. And that's going to be a big difference. So if you like this useful life-saving knowledge you've learned on this channel, then please support me by following me on YouTube, listening and liking to other videos on this channel, and by following me in the Boreal Wilderness Institute on Facebook. Thank you, stay safe, and if you're stranded in the wilderness, just remember, stop and survive.